I did a couple more things to the CC01 since the last video. It's actually running now, so I just want to go over a few of the things that I did before I take it out and see how it does, and then bring it back in to do any changes and fine-tuning that I need to work on. So I haven't changed anything on the top. I'm just evaluating how to get lights on this thing. Still haven't figured that out. The Axial Simple LED light kit that I have, not Simple LED, the NVS light system, that will not, it's not very practical for this. It'll probably fit, but it's not very practical at all due to the crazy wiring setup of it. So anyway, the lights are on down the road, but for now what I've done is I already showed where I installed the electronics plates, those 2 sheets of Lexan. I went ahead and installed the electronics on those. That's with servo tape, double-sided. The tape I use is actually a little stronger than servo tape, but it's waterproof, double-sided tape, foamy style tape, will not come off. I have to do some wire securing. Those are just tucked down in there right now. And I need to do something with the servo wires that run from the servo across the battery plate. If you could see, there's a better look of the servo wire just running right across the battery plate, so it could potentially get hung up on the battery, so I need to do a better job of securing that. But other than that, the electronics were a simple install. The servo horn that came on this, aluminum job, it actually already fit on there, so I used that servo horn. The electronics, as I stated before, are from the Maxstone 8, a dual ESC, a dual motor ESC, an unknown 540 type motor, and a waterproof receiver, 4-channel, of which I'll be using 2. And this is also the battery that came with the Maxstone 8, a simple NIMH 2000 milliamp battery. I did a lot of the changing the Phillips out for hex. I did a lot more of that. I used the same steering setup they used. It's a little sloppy in there. I think that's because of the mechanism. This being El Cheapo, I'm choosing to use only stock replacement parts, things that would have came with this kit originally, other than the hex hardware. That being said, I may need to go ahead and upgrade the steering, because this steering is just super sloppy. I've heard one or two guys have told me about the steering on this thing, so yeah, it's definitely a weak point. But I'm going to take it out and see how it goes, and see if the steering actually needs to be upgraded or what. The shocks have been rebuilt. See, that's a problem. That's another problem. I don't have the battery blocker in yet. That didn't come, so I may need to order one of those. So anyway, I went ahead and rebuilt the shocks all the way around. I got rid of some spacers that the previous owner had to heighten the truck. The wheels are a little close to the wheels, but that's the same way it is in the real life counterpart. I've actually been looking at real Jeeps out on the road, and the body does sit very close to the wheels. So we're going to keep it that way. I put 30 weight oil in the shocks front and rear. The shocks have a heavier spring on the rear, which allows the truck to be a lot more loose in the front, so I might either need to put heavier weight oil in the front shocks in order to keep it up, or move the shock collar down, or maybe a combination of the both. 35 in the front probably wouldn't hurt at all due to the softness of the front springs that they have. So I'll probably do a little work on those after I get back and see how it does. I put a little antenna tube in there. It's all hidden by the interior of the body, so that's unseen. So that's about it as far as the getting it running portion of this goes. From now on, it's just going to be tweaking and getting it running right. I'm not quite sure how it's going to work. I know it sounds pretty loud right now, so I'm going to take it out and do a quick trail run, and just see how it holds up, see how it performs, and then come in and start tweaking on it and working on it to get it to perform the best it can.